Today we're going to do art journaling. So today we're going to be doing themed art journaling, and I'm going to work on my art journal. And art journaling is something I know a little bit about. These are just a few of my art journals. These, of course, are my newest art journals. And this one was just recently published by Stampington Art Journaling magazine. And I'll show that to you in a minute. It just came back, so I just got to share it with you now so that you can actually see it, because I didn't have it until then. So anyway, we're going to have fun doing art journaling today. So for those of you who don't know, I've had a long history with Stampington, and my work's been published in many different issues of many different titles, and also in Pasticcio, which was a fabulous zine, which is no longer published. But anyway, this current issue of Art Journaling magazine is the article that journal is in. So, and if you want to get this, I'm sure that they have other copies for you. So you might remember this. This is my beautiful journal. It's called Lady's Hand, but I think of it as the beautiful journal. Because it's about beauty, and so I decided I would journal in here today. And this journal is different. My theme journals are different than my regular journals. Regular journals are about what's going on in my life. Theme journals are about whatever the theme happens to be, and this one is about beauty. So I've got about 5 spreads that I want to work on today, and we're going to start with page number 1, which I'm sure you remember. And for those of you who can't draw, this is just a book page that I embellished. And if you can't draw and it frustrates you to draw, then try doing something like this. You can journal about any kind of topic that you want to. You can make a journal up about anything. One of the things I wanted to impress upon you today is that there aren't any rules. So you get to do it your way. Now you might think that I'm done with this page, and some people might be done, but I journal write in my journals. I'll show you this page here that I've already written a lot about this image and about what it means to me. And so I'm going to journal write here, and it's going to express how I feel about beauty. And the reason I chose beauty is because we have such a love-hate relationship with beauty. And we have ideas about what is beautiful and what isn't beautiful. So I'm going to journal write on the page. And to save a little bit of time, I've already thought of some things I wanted to say and written it down so that I can just write it in here. And I'm using a graphite aquarelle pencil. You can probably use a pencil if you're using gesso on the page, which I've already gessoed this page. And the great thing about doing art journaling is it doesn't have to be neat, you know. It can be, you know, just write, just put down your feelings the way you want them. Now, usually I will just write, you know, stream of consciousness, but since you were here, I didn't want to have to stop and think and then try to decide what I was going to put down. And so now, because it's aquarelle, of course, this is what I wanted to do. I don't want it to be completely legible. I don't care if there are some words that are legible, but basically I'm wanting to show that the written word is there, but it's not about really reading it. It's about the energy of it, and it's about the texture that you create on the page. And let's face it, you know, these are my words for me. I know what's there. And you have to write your own art journal and put down the words that you want about whatever topic that you know, want to share. We have such a love-hate relationship with beauty. It's like we like to tear it down. And so I wanted to create a juxtaposition with the beauty on the page. Okay, now we're going to let that dry. On this page I've already written quite a bit, and I've used some Caran d'Ache on here, and now I'm going to add another layer of gesso to this and kind of cover that up, and that'll give us a really nice texture to the page. Now, they're your pages. You get to do whatever you want to. One of my purposes in creating an art journal is that it's a cathartic process, that I can talk things out, I can work things out, and if I create beauty, that's great, but that's not my point. My point isn't to create beauty. My point is to work things out in a visual manner, to set things down on paper, visually and through the written word, about where I am and what I think. So I can go back to my journals and see exactly where I was, and by looking at the images and at what I've created, I get a really good idea about that. I remember exactly. I don't have to have every single word because the image speaks to me, and the writing on the page and the texture that I used. So anyway, so that's part of the reason why you would want to create an art journal, and you can do it on any topic that you like, whatever is interesting to you. So I'm just going to take this gesso and just spread it around. Now, I know a lot of people use it just with a brush, but I like to use a palette knife with it, my old trusty thing, and I think that it has a really nice look to it. And I'm just going to cover up some of that because I don't need that, and I'll just kind of build up some texture. One of the things that I wrote about was about wearing hats, and about how we always used to wear hats, and about how important it was to cover our heads, and especially as women, but men also. And that, you know, that's just something that really, it's not done like it was. And what does that have to do with beauty? And is that important? So I've got the gesso spread on here, and I really like the way it looks. I like the texture of it, and I'm just kind of spreading it out just a little bit more in some of the places, and then we're gonna go ahead and let this dry and move on to our next spread. But I think you get the idea. So you can cover your text. It shows through in some places, but I think it really looks good. And I love all the texture. And we may go back and do more texture. I might embellish this more. I just don't have the feeling like this is done. I might even put something through this underneath here so that this pops out a little bit more. But on to the next spread. This is my page about death and about the rite of passage about death, how we feel about death, and about widow's weeds, and about wearing black as an appropriate color to mourn. And so I wanted to definitely do something about mourning, and I'll probably do something on this page and maybe this page. We'll see, but it's definitely a topic that everybody has to deal with, that we all have to talk about it, and we all have to handle it. And so I wanted to use some more of this ribbon. I really liked the way it looked. It's starting to fall apart, and I love that that it's actually, you know, kind of crumbling. That's perfect for a page on death. And then I have a tiny heart here too. So I thought I would stitch that onto this page. As you can see, I've done a lot of writing on it, and I may end up doing some more painting on top of that. But I like pages that are completely layered, that really speak about the subject, and I want to pour my heart into it. So we're going to stitch this down, and the first thing I'm going to do is to just use my glue stick to just hold it into place. I don't want it to mess around and, you know, slop all over the place, so I want to be able to get a really good connection. So, and so of course, if you knew that you were going to do this from the beginning, you know, it would be a little bit easier, but who knows, you know, what's going to happen with a journal. So sometimes stitching in a journal can be a little awkward, but that's just the way that's just the nature of journaling, right? You just have to go with it. And sometimes I actually like the awkwardness of stitching in a journal, where everything can be a little wonky and it looks unusual. I like that look. That's kind of a wabi-sabi kind of look. And I love stitching at the edge. I thought about doing some more stitching in here, and I want to bring in more cloth, but certainly for this spread on death, you know, we used to have wreaths and armbands and all kinds of things. I remember going to funerals as a child and just being fascinated by all of the details about death. And I found this little old heart, and I thought this would be perfect to poke in here, and we'll see if it stays there, but I just kind of liked the way it looked. And this heart actually came from a friend of mine who died a few years ago, so it's kind of apropos. All right. And of course I'm going to leave that tail on there because you know how I love tails. I love pieces just kind of drifting along the page. Can you see it?
Yep.
Great. You might remember this page. It says Mon Ami, and there's a bird here, and I thought this would be perfect to start kind of a discourse on handwriting and writing in particular. And then also it goes with the typewriter. And, you know, I don't know how many people out there actually had to take typewriting in school. Probably no one does anymore. But anyway, learning how to use a typewriter, but handwriting, especially writing letters, using beautiful handwriting, all of those things. So I wanted to include a page in that. And so this came from a book. Can you see that? Is that our? It's 1920. In January of 1920, and it's about letter writing. It was a whole article about the beauty of letter writing and how, as an artist, you should add little drawings and things to your work. And I just thought that was so charming. So I wanted to place that in here. And so I'm just going to glue that to this little tip in that we put in when we did the book originally. And I'm not really sure where this is going to go, but I just know that this is where I want it to be. So we're just going to go with that today. And that's the way I'm doing. I do all my journal pages, is do what I feel is right in the moment. I listen to my intuition about journaling. And then if I don't like it later, I'll take it out. But usually I'm okay with what I've created and where it is. I just want to make sure that was straight. So poke it just a little bit more like that. It's pretty straight. Okay, and then I liked this piece here, but I need to cut it. So I'm going to cut it and then we'll come right back. So here's the little piece. I took my pinking shears to cut it because it's a little stamp. You know, it came from the same paper that this bird came from. I like the juxtaposition with that and then the creaminess of the fabric. And this gives me you know, more space to write and more opportunity to talk about handwriting, the written word, and how important it is in journaling. So I want to do a page using this image, and I liked both of these images, and I thought it would be great to just kind of to separate it. Then I've got two images I can use. So we're going to do that, and I want to use this oversized flower with it, because I just LOVE love that. And this was the spine of this book that we're using for a journal. And so I thought it would be fun to incorporate that in here and to use that to glue her into the page. So that's what I'm going to do. I love the idea of using that old bit in here, and the idea that it all is going to just decompose and crumble. And it was Tales of Mystery and Imagination. So that's pretty much what an art journal is too. It's using our imagination, right? So that's what we're going to do. So the first thing I want to do is to rip this, and I folded it over and over. I don't want to cut it. I want to tear it. And so I'm going to do this. And the whole point is getting two images off out of one image, so that we have more to use later on. So she can go here and we can do something else over there. So think about how you can judiciously use your images as well. So we're going to put this down, and I'm going to use gel matte medium to do that. And hey, we want to thank you. You know where you can get gel matte medium, and we want to thank you for using all of our links for Amazon. Thank you for your most kind donations. We so appreciate it. And your thumbs up, your likes, your shares. We've had so many shares. We appreciate that so much. And and all those thumbs up, those things are all important to us. Your comments, honestly, your comments keep me doing this, right?
Absolutely.
If I didn't get such great feedback from so many wonderful people, and if I hadn't made such fabulous friends, we probably would have stopped doing this channel a long time ago. Well, I know I would have. It just takes so much time for me to come up with different projects and to share things that I'm working on. Okay, I want to just cut this short a little bit. I'm just going to turn it because I want this to go here, and I don't need to see it. So I'm going to do that. I just had the idea of putting this down because the cream color matched the flower. And I really wanted to go with that. And then the white on her dress will really stand out. So we'll just do this. We'll worry about the length of it later. But right now this will be good. And I can edge it if I want to still. Yeah, I kind of like that ruffled look on there. All right, and then this is going to go here. And so we're just going to tack that down and decide what I want to do. Now I'm going to go back and I will gesso this with probably clear gesso. So I'll be able to lift this up and go back and do that because I want that to live. So I think what I'll do is take duckle scissors maybe and cut these edges. And that will be nice. Now I have space under here to do something with. So think about images, think about using them judiciously, about cutting them up, about creating little hidden spaces so you can keep journaling. This is a huge topic, and we can write about it on and on and on, and it just it needs a lot of space to work out our feelings about it. Well, can you believe it? It's ciao for now, and this was our first video for 2022. Happy New Year to everybody. And so I just wanted to say that art from the heart isn't always beautiful. You don't have to make beautiful pages. You can put down, you can express what you feel on your page, and create all the texture that you want. So paint, collage, stitch, sew, repeat. Paint, collage, stitch, sew, repeat, and just keep art journaling. So we're going to revisit this topic. I've got lots more journals to use, and we're going to have fun with it this year. So can't wait to see you next time. Until then, ciao for now.